Morning, this is the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Charles Kiage, and you are most certainly watching Lookup Television. I'm not alone, Anki's out, but we do have that guy who normally replaces her.
My name is Brian Amwai. Thank you so much, Simba, for that intro. Of course, I'm not a guest here. I've been holding court for quite a while. So how are you this morning, though?
Fantastic, man. I can't complain. Can't complain. It's been a weekend of no football, but then yesterday we did have that specific one by a hero, Eliud Kipchoge, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that shortly, by the way. And a lot of prayers this weekend as well, from all the way from State House.
Well, I think it's important that we get to the mood of being a prayer nation, because prayers do move mountains. If, just in case you didn't know that, they do move mountains. So if in case our economy is going down, then we need to pray about it. If at all there's drought ravaging the country, we need to pray about it. I'm just mentioning,
Is that a direct?
There's nothing
No pun.
sinister about this.
No pun intended.
Prayer is important. Prayer is important.
No pun intended. Anyway, here's the thing. We do expect that each month, once a month, if you're a pastor, if you're a man of faith and religion in this country, then indeed we will be seeing those prayers coming up. Okay, we'll be coming back shortly so that we continue with the morning drift right here on Lookuptv.
Hi there, my name is George Washuri. I am so happy to see you, and today I am here to enumerate, to explain how we package our land investment. We have 5 levels of our property, and we classify these levels as 1 star, 2 stars, 3 star, 4 star, and 5 star. This is what we mean, that if you buy a property that is 1 star with Optiven, one of the things that is evident, the property is cheaper, is below $500,000. And this particular property is basically bare land. We only do subdivision, put the beacons, and then produce titles. The second level, we call it 2 star. This is prime land, whereby we grade the roads, we put a marking fence, do the beacons, and produce titles. The third level, we call it 3 stars. This 3 star is value added plots. We do the malam, we do the water, we do the mesh fence, and there's a caretaker on site. The fourth level is 4 star. 4 star is ready to build development. We do very nice maram roads, we plant the trees, we put the water tower, we also put a caretaker on site, and finally, the 5 star. The 5 star is premier, is the top level, and this one, we do cable roads, we do water management through underground culverts, we do underground power, we do fountain for water, we do beautiful and nice permanent gates, we do perimeter wall, and also do install the CCTV, and the whole property is manned by uniformed security. Some of these properties, these 5-star properties, we do a clubhouse and also construct swimming pool. Thank you once more for trusting Optiven. We value you. We are at Absa Plaza, 14th floor and 15th floor. God bless you.
Hii ndio inaitwa randa. Unakumbuka mwimbaji alisema nipige randa
nimelelewa kwa ile hali ya hustle. Celebrity yule tumefanyia kazi kubwa ni Nyashinski. Nashukuru ni hapa kazi tu.
Mimi nilikuwa nimehubiri miaka kadhaa kabla nikutane na mhubiri ambaye anaambia pepo toka na inaongea inasema tumeenda. Nimeingia mahali, nimetembelea watu ambao wamejaribu kuuza vitu zikakataa kuenda. Nikaingia pale nikasema maneno, nikamwaga mafuta mahali pale, zile bidhaa zikaanza kuuzika, maana zilikuwa zimefugwa na powers.
Who answers all of our prayers?
Africa. Our economy has a bit. It never stops, always beating. Our business, the next global economic frontier. Let's talk African business.
Hi guys, this is Wasim Nurani from Innovus Group. Innovus Group was founded in 2018 as a consulting group focused on providing services for all your business needs with offices in Mombasa and Nairobi, and with a core team of experienced staff. We are able to provide you with services in audit and assurance, tax advisory, financial and ICT consultancy. Get in touch with us for more details. Innovus Group will be at the Royal Nairobi Golf Club for the Corporate Masters Golf Tournament on 1st of October. See you all there.
As human beings, we don't embrace change. So what we do is we want to get stuck where we are.
We need to shift our thinking and our perspective around the issues of failure.
You don't have 96 years, but you don't need 96 years to go back to school.
Okay. When I think about Destiny Helpers, when I'm like, who's adding, they are saying, who's adding value to my life, or who's helping me get to a better place?
To handle yourself is part of it, and even being able to handle failure is a success in itself.
There are people who like, you go ask.
They never share knowledge.
And they tell you what to already know. A true friend is one who tells you when your face is dirty.
It's amazing where I am today, and who would have thought?
Since I met you, I've added more white hair.
Yes, clearly.
Welcome back. You are still watching The Morning Brief. My name is Simba Charles Kiage. I do have Amwai Brian right here with me, taking you through what is trending in as much as the newspapers are concerned this morning. Amwai, I do have the Standard, and let me go through some of the headlines. Ruto invites 40 clerics to purify State House. Let me just read for you that kicker. But the same president held Thanksgiving prayers to celebrate his election win hours after jetting back into the country from the United States, and urged the clergy to pray for his office and the economy that is shocking in debt. Look at that kicker, Amwai. And then if you want to read into that story, then go all the way to page 6. Look into that. Like, pray for an economy that is shocking in debt. What do you make of that headline?
I think it is important. Like I said earlier, Simba, it's really important for us to hold prayers. And, prayers do move mountains, just like I said. You have no idea what prayers can do. I am a testimony of prayer. So, yes, when we say to pray for the economy, sometimes you need divine intervention when, you probably are clouded and you can't think straight when it comes to running government. You need divine intervention. And him inviting clerics to do that is, to some extent, just showing the country that, you know, we are a Christian nation. But this is the thing. You see, when this was happening, when this was happening, people on Twitter were not happy about it because they said we are a secular nation. And when you make State House just about Christians, then what are you doing to other people who do not conform to that faith? Yes. Yeah. So the Muslims then, should they be having their day? You know, the atheists also are claiming that, okay, now we also need to also be recognized that we actually do exist, because this country is a secular nation and not just a Christian nation. And a president, as much as he's a born-again Christian and somebody who is, you know, believes in matters faith and the church, then he actually needs to show that he's a representation of every other, you know, faith.
It's interesting you should say that, because then even the First Lady announced yesterday that this would continue. But for her, she was quite specific. She said that it's just a continual of the thanksgiving for what the Lord, and I'm quoting her, by the way, I'm quoting her, for what the Lord did for them, meaning giving the first family the presidency in this country. Is it not? And she said that when God does something to you, you don't thank her you don't thank him once, you keep on doing that. So now she did announce that at the end of each month, there will be this kind of service at State House.
At what cost, though? Okay, let's not get into that.
The president said, well,
this is the thing. I also remember the deputy president actually saying, well, this just probably to phrase whatever he said, I'm not going to quote him directly, but he said, if you know, State House is not going to lock out the church, if I told the government officials, security officers, do lock you out of State House, then, you know, Mama Rachel, who is the First Lady, she's going to come and open the doors for you. So State House is open to everyone right now, and just making it a house of the people.
Let's just see how it goes. By the way, again, on the standard Amwai, just as we clear on this one, the plans then for the government to increase NSSF contributions. By the way, just a background on that. If you want to read into that story, then you have to go all the way to page 7 of the standard. Because last week, by the way, the High Court did declare NSSF deductions unconstitutional. Just to be specific, right now, you and I might contribute 200 shillings for NSSF. The president did come in and say, well, these contributions are not enough. They cannot really help anybody secure their future. Even yesterday, by the way, at that sitting of the clergy, he did announce that even did we continue like this, then the government is going to reward you the percentage of your savings if indeed you start to save right now at NSSF. So now they want to increase it to 2,000 shillings, but then Amwai have hosted the County Workers Union Secretary General, who were among the petitioners of that particular announcement from the president before the courts granted them the green light to have this stopped. He said, the law is clear. You're given a right to choose whatever pension scheme that you want to get into. And there are so many in the country. So why are you forcing us to be into NSSF? And by the way, the returns from NSSF, quite puny, for lack of a better word, if indeed that is to go by. They're saying, well, if you're going to promise us bigger returns, then let's talk about that. And then on the sideline of the standard, they have a very nice picture of Eliud the Great. That's how they're quoting it. And it ran 2 hours and 1 minute and 9 seconds. On that is the new marathon world record at the Berlin Marathon. By the way, this record was his that he broke.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting, really. You want to read into that story again, go all the way to page 40 and page 3.
All right, let's take a look at the Daily Nation. Well, the headline here on the Daily Nation is Ebola next door, which is in Uganda. Let me just take, they say, more than 5 days since the declaration of Ebola in Uganda, Kenyan officials continue to drag their feet with minimal screening at Busia and Malaba border posts, even as the deadly virus spreads from the Mubembe ground zero into Kampala and claims 20 victims and counting. Now, this is exactly what is happening, Simba, in Uganda. We have Ebola, and to some extent, I saw George Natembeya, who is the governor of Tanzania, saying that we should actually limit our movements when it comes to coming from Kenya all the way to Uganda, because we have no idea we could actually catch that and you know, bring it here and infect people. So in terms of trying to just mitigate it, we are being advised not to make those particular movements. But I don't think, do you think the government is doing enough in terms of just sensitizing people and being ready for this in case it happens? Because, you know, we've had a pandemic before, and it caught us unaware, and this, if you're not careful, we might actually be, you know, people that will actually be suffering too, because 20 victims already in Uganda are gone.
Yeah. I was looking at how the Ministry of Health, Uganda, was treating it. In fact, they gave advisory. By the way, this one again is a contact infection. Amwai. Like you just have to be in contact with the germs then for you to actually get it. So they're telling people wash your clothes, take showers, bathe. In fact, even social distancing was also included in that. So not yet, and we're doing a lot at the border, isn't it, just to make sure that it doesn't get in. So it has to be a lot of testing. So we are fighting too now, Ebola and the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Something else that I want to touch on, do we still have time or will we continue? Matters environment. I think Gachagwa's Shamba Systems plan sparks controversy. That is also on the Daily Nation. And do you remember this weekend when he was attending the burial of the deceased, who is the Deputy Governor of Baringo County, Charles Kipngok? He said that, well, we need to allow farmers to, you know, around the forest, and those people who live around the forest actually plant trees there. And as they plant trees, they should also cultivate so that they have something to feed. And this, in the environmental sector, has actually, you know, sparked controversy. People are saying this Shamba system was actually abolished because to some extent people are grabbing land and leading to deforestation because they were cutting down trees and something like that. Something that the late Wangari Maathai was actually so much against, and now he says we've given an order that we can actually have that back. I don't know what you make of that, but you can actually get the story on the Daily Nation because it has been making headlines of late ever since he made that statement. Something else, it matters in security. Simba, you understand that you have 8 officers who have been killed by bandits in, you know, Turkana, and I believe the president himself has actually pronounced himself and said we are going to deal with the issue with the bandits and to make sure that security is restored in that particular area, and sio tafadhali. That's the statement. He says sio tafadhali. Yeah, so we expect you know, to come up and say, okay, this is the plan, and this issue of having banditry attacks every now and then in the Rift Valley region, we don't want that.
Interesting, really. Okay. So just for us to really see how it goes in terms of security around that area. For now, we just take a little breather. We come back with what is trending online, in as much as exactly what it is that you're talking about. Kenyan matters, isn't it? Okay. Once we come back. All right, welcome back to the Morning Drift. Let's see exactly what it is that you're talking about online. Now, Amwai, let me draw your attention to what Kenya is talking about this morning. Okay. I see David and D is trending. I see Rachel Ruto is trending. I see Catholic Church is trending. And I can also see, let me just before that, I see one here that actually those 3, and we do know why. Now, let me just put it into perspective. You know, Kenyans are very interesting people, isn't it? So they went and found a tweet by David Ndii some time back when he was relating religion to poverty. He actually said that most religious people in Kenya are the ones who are the poorest. All right? Now, he finds himself supporting a government that is really very keen on religion. So guys asked him, do you still retain the same sentiment that you just gave us a couple of months ago? Because this government that you're supporting is really heavy on religion. Yeah? Talk about being between the hard, what do they call it?
The hard place.
That's it. I can tell you.
Well, they say a change is the only thing that is constant. So you are allowed to change your sentiments, and whatever you thought then probably, you know, is in time when you learn new things, you're like, okay, maybe I thought wrong. I need to rethink again and, you know, align myself with whatever is happening on the ground today.
But
so
it doesn't go to church.
We give him that.
Yeah.
You know? So
here's the thing. Yeah. Let me get you the tweet. It was actually in 2018 when he said, less religious societies are more morally upright than religious ones. Then he continued and says, Religiosity is a sign of hypocrisy. Religion is for losers.
Whoa, that was strong.
That's tough.
That also. How do you serve in a government where the person that you're actually serving is so religious and yet you seem not to believe in the same? I think how did that even mix? Because I think light and dark to some extent do not mix. That's what people say. So if you do not believe in whatever he believes in, then to some extent he needs to look at you and say, this is not a person that I can actually reason with. We are welcoming. Oh, we are a secular nation, Simba, so we can actually accommodate that. But I don't know. From the top, I have no idea.
Somebody was asking a question. Now that we've seen people in Kenya lose their jobs or go to interviews, and then tweets come up on social media when they were talking bad about the current organizations they want to work for, and all of a sudden that becomes the basis of them losing those opportunities that they're going for. Do you think that even in Ruto's government, and then this comes up, we do know that David Ndii is gunning for an economic position in Ruto's government, would you give him that job, or you would tell him, bwana, nimekuja kugundua
nilifikiria vibaya. I want to quote one of the people one of the politicians that was actually in Jubilee at some time back before they actually broke. And they said, so when you are singing Wembe ni ule ule tano tena and all that, so what changed? And they were like, I believed what I believed then, and I exercised my right and my people's right in that particular manner. But now I am woke, and it's a different kind of thing.
It's a different kind of thing, isn't it? Anyway, we just leave it. Well, we don't know why you guys are talking about ratios, because she announced that will be it's a monthly meeting at State House. By there, kuna lunch.
To some extent, you see, to some extent, when we were getting into this, I saw this coming.
Did you?
I saw this coming. So we could actually be having prayers at State House. But I wasn't sure that it will actually come to fruition. But here we are, and this is the thing, and these are not my words, but somebody said, you know, sometimes when you want to, the people that believe in God are the easiest people that you can actually, not that you shouldn't believe. It's very important that we all believe in God. I do believe. But to some extent, it can be used. It can be used to actually enslave you, because when somebody comes and tells you that the Lord has communicated today, and they say that you should give me everything that you own, because they're going to bless you even more when you do that, then you will do it. You see?
Interesting. I'm telling you. Anyway,
this is the thing. This is the thing. So they say it is easier to get to enslave a people that is so religious, because their belief in God sometimes is not questionable. And when God has communicated, and he uses everyone to actually communicate. You can't dismiss that. You don't know who God is going to use to communicate. So God could actually be communicating to me. I could actually come and tell you, by the way, Simba, God has communicated to me and told me you should give me your car. Will you do it?
We're going to leave it there. Amwai, here's the thing. Anyway, it's good to have a morally upright society, but whether religion, just like David Ndii was questioning in 2018, is the one that would inspire morality in a society, is still neither here nor there. Anyway, let's talk about this other one that Kenyans are talking about, Eliud Kipchoge. He smashed his own marathon world record. By the way, Amwai, you and I were talking. Why didn't we have this as a national television event? Could you? Are you able to answer that? Are we
do you really want us to do that? I think the president was speaking somehow, to some extent.
In charge?
Yeah.
Where? So that became a national event?
Yeah.
Where?
Matters of importance and prominence, you know, how it happens in this industry. So we have to give, you know, prominence to where prominence is. So what makes headlines, it is that.
We leave it there.
Yeah.
That's it?
So, something else
was there a congratulatory message from the president to Eliud Kipchoge?
I didn't see that run.
I didn't see it as well.
But
I just saw
But we, as a people, we are happy. We did congratulate him. That's the most important thing, because he's representing the country. And I love what sports does to this country, because we could be divided politically in different ways, thinking differently. But when it comes to matter sports and our people out there, we are very united, and you know, we love it that they make us proud. That's where we actually do forget our differences and come together and say, this is our person, these are our people, and we're happy for them and congratulate them. And be proud to be Kenyan. So when somebody is out there, you are Kenyan? Yes, I'm Kenyan. You know Eliud Kipchoge, of course? Yeah. Those are the kind of things. So sports does unite us, and it's very important. It's a good thing. I like it.
And here's the thing. I'm seeing messages from the London Marathon. I'm seeing messages from the New York Times. I'm seeing messages from, you know, just guys who recognize just how titanic this guy is. But can I ask you a question? You see how we have Jordans, the Nike brand of shoes, yeah? Should we have Kipchoges? Is it time? Do you think that is something that will say, definitely? Why not, Amwai?
We could.
Isn't it? Is it time they do Kipchoges?
Yeah, they could do that.
You think you'll buy that pair? Amwai, I know you like dressing casual. So
yeah.
I think that's something that you would have done, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, let's just do this. Let's just go with whatever we have. Let's not overdo it.
They should do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yo, maybe James is less than James. Do you think we shouldn't have Kipchoges the same way we have Jordans? But waiting for this guy to speak to me. We have what? Nike Zooms. Wow. As it is. Anyway, let's talk about the last one just before we come out then. Ebola. That's another one that we need to talk about, Amwai. Yeah. Because can I tell you something? You do know that majority of Kenyans were at the Nyege Nyege festival. In fact, it was an official number that I saw. Over 4,000 Kenyans were in Uganda for the Nyege Nyege festival. And they came back. Yeah? So is it time that we worry about Ebola in the country? Because so far, I was also looking at 21 people have already lost their lives to Ebola in Uganda, isn't it? They've already declared it a national disaster.
Okay. Yeah. And I think as a country, we actually need to be careful when it comes to that and do a lot of screening, because we were just reading the Daily Nation, and they're saying there's less screening that is actually happening at the border point, where, you know, people from Uganda and Kenya get to interact. So we need to be very vigilant and careful in regards to that. We don't want to be caught unaware, right?
As it is.
All right, just Simba, before we actually wind up, I think this is important. We touch on this on bandits, and they say police have launched a manhunt for the people, for bandits who killed 11 in Turkana, and this just follows whatever the president said yesterday, that we are going to hunt them down and make sure that security is restored, and it is not going to be business as usual. Somebody says here, out of the 11 people shot by the Pokot bandits, 7 were highly trained GSU officers. Not a single bandit was killed in the attack. Also, no IED was used, just bullets from those Pokot shippers, something like that. And yeah, and I also believe a sister to the former presidential candidate, that is Ekuru Aukot, actually, you know, did die, and it's so sad. Condolences to the family.
We do that. Yeah. Anyway, guys, join us online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba. Amwai?
At Amwai Brian, that is on Twitter. We just use that.
We come back, I take you to the newsroom where I tell you the biggest headlines that you are starting your day with this morning.
Get a chance to wake up as a tourist as you view Mount Kenya every day by buying a plot of land at Wema Gardens, Naru Moru. At only 400 meters off tarmac, this is the right place to build your dream home, cottages or holiday homes. You can also buy this property to give to your children as a special inheritance. Water and electricity are in the vicinity, while neighbors are already building their homes. These plots are specially ready for you, with title deeds scheduled to be out in 6 months. Buy a 50 by 100 plot of land at Wema Gardens for only 399,000 Kenya shillings. You can also pay for your plot through our friendly one-year installments plan.
They're inspiring possibility.
Hi guys, this is Wasim Nurani from Innovas Group. Innovus Group was founded in 2018 as a consulting group focused on providing services for all your business needs, with offices in Mombasa and Nairobi, and with a core team of experienced staff. We are able to provide you with services in audit and assurance, tax advisory, financial and ICT consultancy. Get in touch with us for more details. Innovus Group will be at the Royal Nairobi Golf Club for the Corporate Masters Golf Tournament on 1st of October. See you all there.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Hii ndio inaitwa randa. Unakumbuka mwimbaji alisema ipige randa eh.
Nimelelewa kwa ile hali ya hustle. Celebrity yule tumefanyia kazi kubwa ni Nyashinski. Nashukuru ni hapa kazi tu.
Mimi nilikuwa nimehubiri miaka kadhaa kabla nikutane na mhubiri ambaye anaambia pepo toka na inaongea inasema tumeenda. Nimeingia mahali, nimetembelea watu ambao wamejaribu kuuza vitu zikakataa kuenda. Nikaingia pale nikasema maneno, nikamwaga mafuta mahali pale, zile bidhaa zikaanza kuuzika, maana zilikuwa zimefugwa na powers.
Who answers all of our prayers?
Back, you are still watching Lookuptv. My name is Simba Charles Kiage. Let's cross over to the newsroom so that we can tell you the biggest headlines that you are starting your day with. Now, world marathon record. That is named as the greatest marathoner in the modern era. Double Olympic champion Eliud Kipchoge once again displayed class, setting his bar high in his league after breaking his own record by 30 seconds in Berlin, having clocked 2 hours and 1 minute and 9 seconds to edge out fellow countryman Mark Correal, who finished second in 2 hours 5 minutes and 58 seconds, as Ethiopia's Tadu Abake settled for third in 2 hours and 6 minutes 28 seconds.
It is Eliud Kipchoge to the rescue again, perfecting his craft and taking over by storm to smash his own record by 30 seconds on Sunday at the German capital. The race kicked off with Kipchoge side by side with the Ethiopian parka of defending champion Guye Adola and Andamlak Belihu. Tucked between 3 pace setters and the Ethiopian duo, Kipchoge cruised past the 5-kilometer mark in 14 minutes and 14 seconds before hitting the 10-kilometer mark in 28 minutes 22 seconds. As pressure increased and Kipchoge's fast legs and strength was displayed, Adola could not match up as he dropped, with Belihu still taking on Kipchoge as they finished the 15-kilometer mark in 42 minutes 32 seconds, a minute quicker than the world record. The two were still on each other's toes at the 20-kilometer mark, in which Kipchoge took down in 56 minutes 44 seconds. At the end of it all, it was King Kipchoge reigning in 2 hours 01 minutes 09 seconds, a record-equaling fourth win to put him on level terms with the great Haile Gebrselassie. His fellow countryman Mark Korir then followed closely in 2 hours, 05 minutes, 58 seconds as Ethiopia's Tadu Abake finished third in 2 hours, 06 minutes, 28 seconds. Marian Kigeni, Lookuptv.
Still on the marathon, the women's marathons kept fans cheering as Kenya's Rosemary Wanjiru settled for second behind Tigist Assefa of Ethiopia, who shattered her own personal best by 18 minutes to win the marathon in Berlin as a Tigist of Ethiopia came in third. Now, the race saw Assefa secure a third fastest time in the history of 2 hours, 15 minutes and 37 seconds behind Brigid Kosgei and Paula Ratcliffe. Now, Wanjiru clocked 2 hours and 18 minutes, the second fastest debut ever run, with a Tigist following closely by 3 seconds later. All right, moving on. Tension remains high in Turkana County after armed bandits attacked a police vehicle, killing 8 police officers, a chief and 2 civilians. Now, the officers are said to have been pursuing cows stolen before being ambushed by the bandits. Ian Kitani files the following report.
The 8 officers, 2 civilians and a chief were ambushed by the bandits at Namariato village while on their way pursuing the stolen cows. However, the 11 met their death after the bandits laid a trap and attacked them, leaving several others injured. The casualties were rushed to the intensive care unit at Lodwar Referral Hospital, awaiting to be flown to Nairobi for further treatment.
Askari ambayo wamekuja kuokoa watu hawa wanauliwa. Sasa askari wakiuliwa, wale ambao wamekuja kuchunga watu, sasa ni watu nani sasa watachunga watu?
Sisi wamama hupenda amani, na mama mwenye aliuliwa alikuwa naeka patanisho ya Wapokot na Waturkana. Tunaomba serikali, tukiwa tunauliwa wamama wale wako na uchungu ya kila mahali, upande ya Pokot na upande ya Waturkana, tunauawa bure kwa barabara. Huyo mama alikuwa naenda Kamuge kuweka amani ya Waturkana na Wapokot.
Yesterday at around midnight we received 3 casualties from Turkana East, and they presented with the gunshot wounds. One patient was critically injured, and upon receiving the 3 patients, the critically injured patient was stabilized and admitted at HDU.
A police chopper has been dispatched to lift the bodies to Nairobi, with Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomurukai and Senator James Lomenen urging the government to compensate the families of the deceased.
We feel we should receive justice from the government of Kenya. We should get justice from the security apparatus of this country, because that is the role of a government. Immediately after independence, we said we will provide security to the people of Kenya and other good basic needs. So as a leadership of this country, we are appealing to government agencies to leave these other side shows, to give us security for the people of Turkana County.
Security has been beefed up in the region with heavy police presence at the location of the incident. Ian Kitani, Lookuptv.
It's a matter that needs to be looked into. Indeed, let's hope that that directive from President William Ruto is going to take effect. Now, President William Ruto Sunday held Thanksgiving service at State House. This is after arriving from US, beg your pardon, where he addressed the 77th UN Assembly. Now, the president urged the church leaders present to pray for the country's economy, cattle rustling, and tribal conflicts. The Thanksgiving service was conducted by Bishop Mark Kariuki of Deliverance Church and attended by other bishops from various churches.
After his official tour in the United States, it was time to give thanks to the Lord, but this time round, it was at State House, Nairobi. in a service that was organized by various church leaders and led by Bishop Makariuki of Deliverance Church.
There is none like unto you. You alone are worthy of praise. You are worthy of all glory. You ordained before you laid the foundations of the earth that on this particular day we will be gathered on this state grounds and raise up an altar for you.
Ruto urged the clergy to pray for the nation and in particular the country's economy, tribal conflicts and cattle rustling.
And I want to pray that the church can pray for a paradigm shift in the economy of our country. Amen. We have laid out good plans, and I can see there is light at the end of the tunnel. Things are difficult, but we will succeed because we have God on our side. Please pray for our economy. Please remember to pray for our economy. I said, please remember to pray for our economy.
Ruto also took the chance to sharpen his choristering skills by leading the congregation in worship songs. The church leaders present also praying for the nation and Ruto's leadership.
I've never seen anything like this, and the leader who God has appointed to lead this nation is going to transform this nation the way nobody else has done.
The Thanksgiving prayers come even as the country waits for the president to name his cabinet. Sources indicate that Ruto is scheduled to name his cabinet this week, a cabinet that is to accommodate regional balance and still portray the national outlook. Of greater interest to watch is whether President Ruto will remain true to his promise of having 50% women in his cabinet.
Our team, led by our captain, President William Ruto, survived because of prayers. Your Excellency, thank you for leading us by example, for mentoring us young leaders to know the word of God. I have seen many of our colleagues here, and I'll just speak on their behalf, that there's a new dawn.
And the Lord said to Moses,
Lamekongo, Lookuptv.
Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and the Dentist Union, KMPDU, and other trade unions have vowed to push for the disbursement of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, from office. The union leaders stated that SRC has not been involving stakeholders in its decisions.
The move by the SRC to slash allowances from different public servants have engenerated an outcry from the dogma of the trade unionist.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Sunday earmarked a U cry as the leadership of Kenya Medical Practitioners and other trade unions launched an arsenal against Menjik-led commission over the allowances slash, vowing to go to workers across the country to collect 1 million signatures to kick out the SRC in its entirety.
Kisema sisi tunarudi kwa members wetu kufanya yale yanatakikana ya kucorrect signatures kutoka leo. Aturudi nyuma. Kutoka leo tuna wajibu ya correct signatures. Parliament ikifunguliwa Alhamisi, petition yetu tuko tayari kuifanya.
SRC must go.
Union leaders argue that SRC has been making its decisions without seeking their opinions.
We disagree with the overarching role it has abrogated itself of issuing binding advisories without workers' input through their unions.
The unions claim that the move by the SRC to remove allowances was a violation of workers' rights.
The Commission has turned into a body that is neither answerable nor accountable to anyone and makes decisions without public nor stakeholder participation, contrary to the Constitution of Kenya. Article 231, Section 4. Wao wanapofanya kazi yao kulingana na mujibu wa katiba ya Kenya, wanafanya kupita kiasi. Kwetu sisi kama wafanyikazi wa umma, SRC kazi yao ni kushawishi peke yake.
Their complaints against the SRC have been backed by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, Chairperson Omboka Milemba, stating that the union will be heading to court to invoke what he terms as the injustices done to teachers.
Tumeanza mipango ya kupeleka SRC kotini na pia kuongea na serikali ili walimu waweze kuongezwa mishahara. Walimu hawana mshahara wa kutosha. Nyumba ama bei ya nyumba ni juu sana, ni ghali kuliko ile pesa ambayo tunapeana kama house allowance. Kwa hivyo lazima tuongeze pia house allowance ya walimu.
The unions have stated that they will not slow down until their plea is heard and acted upon appropriately. Shadrack Kareria, Lookuptv.
The Supreme Court of Kenya is set to deliver its reasoned judgment on the August presidential election petition Monday. Today, a notice issued by the court's registry indicated that a 7-judge bench will transmit the judgment by mail at 2:30 p.m. Now, the full judgment is a follow-up to a summary decision that the court issued on September 5th that dismissed the petition and upheld the victory of President William Ruto.
Thank you, Counsel.
As the 21-day period comes to a close, the 14-day Supreme Court hearing full verdict will be issued on Monday by the 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court. The court, which unanimously upheld President William Ruto's election and dismissed a consolidated petition in multiple suits filed by, among others, Raila Odinga, will give its detailed ruling on Monday at 2:30 p.m. This is according to the Supreme Court Registrar Letizia Wachira. In the notice, Letizia notes that, take note, that the reasons for the judgment of the court that was delivered in this petition on the 5th day of September will be delivered on Monday, the 26th September 2022 through mail. End of quote. Raila Odinga filed the petition seeking to overturn the election of President William Ruto, who garnered 7.1 million votes, putting him ahead of Odinga, who got 6.9 million votes. The judges, CJ Martha Koome, Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, Mohamed Ibrahim, Smokin Wanjala, Njoki Ndungu, Isaac Lenaola, and William Ouko, unanimously ruled that Ruto was validly elected as president during the August 9, 2022 presidential election.
Let us confirm who is your client.
The Supreme Court's decision then set the stage for the swearing-in of Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua on September 13, 2022, in accordance with the Constitution, which was the first Tuesday after the court delivered its verdict following a presidential petition. The court dismissed claims by Odinga that the technology was interfered with by people who changed Forms 34As in favor of Ruto. The court pronounced itself, saying that the technology deployed by the IEBC was transparent and that the petitioners did not produce enough evidence to suggest any wrongdoing. Hoping that the rift in the commission will solidify his case, the judges said that the 4 disgruntled commissioners did not produce evidence to suggest that the results in their possession differed from those announced by the chairperson of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati. At the center of the election dispute were 9 key issues, including the role of the commissioner in the verification and tallying of the results. The Martha Koome-led bench concluded that the malpractice and irregularities highlighted by the petitioners were not of such magnitude to warrant nullification of the presidential election. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Apologies to paragraph 37.
Pharmacists Awareness Week celebrations are ongoing worldwide, and pharmacists from Kakamega County have urged locals to completely do away with over-the-counter drugs, emphasizing that continuous use of these drugs has increased numerous health risks on individuals.
In earmarking this year's theme, the pharmacist leadership explained that the Pharmacy Awareness Week is anchored on educating locals about the importance of visiting health centers when they fall sick to receive their right prescriptions, especially the correct dosage, rather than purchasing drug over the counter, resulting to overdosage, and encourage patients to finish their dosage prescriptions. They added that they are proud of the measures adhered to in field of pharmacy, particularly pointing out an increase in the number of pharmacists and the great improvement of services provided by the pharmacist.
Kuna mambo mengi tunaweza jivunia
Ya kwanza ni ile nambari ya wahudumu wa famasia imeongezeka marudufu, na hiyo kuongezeka imeleta wagonjwa kupata ile huduma mzuri kulingana na magonjwa yao.
The pharmacists have requested all pharmacies to strictly follow the pharmacy code of ethics when practicing their profession, citing the motto of "Ear weight is uniting to ensure we have a healthy world."
Tunazingatia yale yote yaliyo katika ile inaitwa Pharmacy Code of Ethics ambayo iko na vipengee 10, na hivyo vipengee ni muhimu sana kila mmoja aliye katika hii profession ya pharmacy wazingatie.
They said they are concerned about the issue of increased bacterial diseases and pointing out that antibiotics resistance by the bacteria has been a chronic problem in the fighting the issue.
Na tumegundua ya kwamba hii wakati yenye tuko sasa si wakati mzuri kwa vile hii maviini vimekuwa resistant to madawa ambayo yako. Hii antibiotics na hii antiviral na hii antifungals na antiparasitics. Sasa tungependa kuhimiza wananchi wawe wakikuja hospitali wanapewa prescriptions ndio wananunua hii madawa.
Fourth Kenya Party Youth Wing has today hit out at its Kenya Kwanza Coalition Partners UDA in Bungoma for what they term lack of sincerity and political goodwill. Speaking at Bungoma County, Fourth Kenya headquarters, the youth led by David Wakoli, who is the party's youth leader, says Fourth Kenya had only one senator at the Senate. And with its party leader Moses Wetangula being elevated to the national speaker of the National Assembly, the party must be allowed to fill the Bungoma senatorial seat with a Fourth Kenya candidate.
As Bungoma Youth League, we hereby want to endorse Honorable David Wafula Wakoli as the Fourth Kenya candidate to replace Baba Waroma.
Tapa ambayo viongozi wakubwa Mheshimiwa Rais William Samoei Ruto na Mheshimiwa Moses Masika Wetangula waliandikisha chini ilikuwa ya kwamba sisi kama chama cha Fourth Kenya tuunge mkono Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto kama rais wetu. Kwa hiyo mkataba tukasema tukipita kura Mheshimiwa Moses Masika Wetangula anakuwa Speaker of the National Assembly. Na tena wakasema ya kwamba chama cha UDA hakitasimamisha senator wa Bungoma. Sasa sisi tunataka kuuliza Mheshimiwa Dan, nani ako na deni la mwingine?
Time for Fourth Kenya and members of this party to return the hand for Honorable Wafula Wakoli is now.
Now, in a Sunday Peace Summit held in Nairobi County at the Museum Hill Auditorium by several peace organizations, various stakeholders have continued to advocate for peace, stating absence of awareness on human rights remains a threat to the sustainability of peace. Now, the forum saw Heavenly Culture, World Peace Restoration of Light sign an MOU with other peace organizations such as International Women Peace Group and International Peace Youth Group to achieve peace as an institution. This comes as Kenya continues to witness conflict in the northern region after 11 people, including 8 police officers, were killed by bandits.
People coming here together, these are peace ambassadors. First of all, in Kenya, I cannot say that we have a sustainable peace because the reason why HWL has come here, we need a world peace. Even though Kenya right now we are experiencing peace at some level, but it is not sustainable.
Now in the Kenya is very peaceful. As several people has mentioned, this election finished very peacefully. But you already know, Russia and Ukraine, they are still in the war, right? So what if all of us and the full world having the same thing of the peace, that we can be finished every war in this world and we also really achieve the peace?
We must work together. We know the problem that the world is facing when we talk of conflict. There are so many conflicts, there are so many wars and a lot. And for us to, to live together, and also to achieve many other things. Basically, or initially, is when peace is achieved.
Nobody was born by his own choice to be a Christian, to be a Muslim, to be a Somali or Kikuyu. It was decided by God. And I don't see why we have to fight over something which is beyond our control.
The fact that peace is central to sustainable development, we are encouraging each and every learning institution in the country to uphold peace and have something that speaks for peace.
Well, that story does mark the end of what the morning business desk. Wow, business comes so later. But the morning news desk looks like, yeah, business is going to come maybe from 11 to 12 here. You need to stick around. But just before that, it is now a conversation of members of parliament versus the law. Now, a lot of issues really around what the members of parliament are gunning for. Now, you see, the High Court already ruled that NCDF, or CDF, as we commonly call it, is unconstitutional because they indicated that indeed, if you then give the members of parliament the power to run CDF, then you're taking away the powers of the county because these funds pretty much work in the county levels. So members of parliament have already said that we really do want CDF back. A lot of our legislators already talking about it. The courts are quite clear. Last week, Martha Koome did rule out on it and said, well, the courts were clear on that. That's not an issue that we may want to revisit. So the question is going to be, do the members of the parliament have the power to go back and come up with a new law around this? Another one as well, SRC has already denied members of parliament the sitting allowance. So do they have the power again to go back and overturn that so that they can start receiving those sitting allowances? So it's really neither here nor there. The law is not clear on it. So it's just for us then to wait and see what the two arms are going to do. We're talking about the legislature versus the judiciary. Who has the say of the day? Amwai Brown will come back shortly with that. But for me, I'll meet you at 11 to 12 where we talk about liquor business. And today we'll be live from the Air Sky grounds where we are talking matters agriculture. See you then.
Hi there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Maki Wambogo, Sales Manager of Tiven Real Estate, and I'm here at our head office, Absa Towers, located at Rochester Street. Today, I'm here to talk about our newest project, that is Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki, and it is located only 10 minutes drive from Cedar Mall. And in this project, we have proposed that we will be having a GMC Entertainment Center. This will be a replica of what we have in Kitengela, GMC Kitengela. We are also proposing a police post, so you are assured that security, once you invest here, security is good. And we are also proposing to have a playing ground. We are also going to have a community ground. So once you invest here, you don't have to worry about the security. The other things, among the things that we are doing, or the things that we have done already in Great Oasis Gardens, we have already done the marking fence, and the roads, the internal roads are already happening. We have started the maraming the road, and we are still in the process of doing the maraming of the internal roads. And we are also sinking a borehole so that we ensure that our investors in Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki, will not struggle with water. We are also going to elevate a water tower so that we have a constant supply of water in this project. And we also have a caretaker on site. The caretaker is on site and he's there 24/7. And then we also have different sizes in this project. We are having 8, we are having quarters, we are having halves, and we are also having acres. One can buy in bulk, you can buy in big chunks, and that is why we are saying in Great Oasis Gardens Nanyuki, we are saying that bigger is better. In this project, what you can invest in, you can invest in private schools, you can also do holiday homes, whereby you can do Airbnb, you can also do holiday homes and then you start renting, and you can also build houses and sell. You can also do apartments in this area. You can also do supermarkets. You can also build a mall and then you start renting. There is so much that you can do in this project because it is not controlled development. We are also located along Nanyuki Rumuruti Road, and this road is being proposed to be tarmacked by the government. So coming from Nanyuki or coming from wherever you be coming from, it will be very easy to access the project because it is touching the Nanyuki Rumuruti Road, which is going to be tarmacked by the government. My number is +254 722 355 107. Do not be left behind. Call that number. I will work with you. If you are in Kenya, give me a call. We go for the site visit. We select the project. We start the payment. If you're in diaspora, send a representative, and I will be delighted to work with you. And as we say here in Optiven, we shine because you make us shine. God bless you. Thank you.
Hii ndio inaitwa randa. Unakumbuka mwimbaji alisema nipige randa
Nimelelewa kwa ile hali ya hustle. Celebrity yule tumefanyia kazi kubwa ni Nyashinski. Nashukuru ni hapa kazi tu.
Hi guys, this is Wasim Nurani from Innovus Group. Innovus Group was founded in 2018 as a consulting group focused on providing services for all your business needs with offices in Mombasa and Nairobi, and with a core team of experienced staff. We are able to provide you with services in audit and assurance, tax advisory, financial and ICT consultancy. Get in touch with us for more details. Innovus Group will be at the Royal Nairobi Golf Club for the Corporate Masters Golf Tournament on 1st of October. See you all there.
Africa. Our economy has a bit. It never stops, always beating. Our business, the next global economic frontier. Let's talk African business.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Mimi nilikuwa nimehubiri miaka kadhaa kabla nikutane na mhubiri ambaye anaambia pepo toka na inaongea inasema tumeenda. Nimeingia mahali, nimetembelea watu ambao wamejaribu kuuza vitu zikakataa kuenda. Nikaingia pale nikasema maneno, nikamwaga mafuta mahali pale, zile bidhaa zikaanza kuuzika, maana zilikuwa zimefugwa na powers.
Who answers all of our prayers?
As human beings, we don't embrace change. So what we do is we want to get stuck where we are.
We need to shift our thinking and our perspective around the issues of failure.
You don't have 96 years, but you don't need 96 years to go back to school.
Okay. When I think about Destiny Helpers, when I'm like, who's adding, they are saying, who's adding value to my life, or who's helping me get to a better place?
To handle yourself is part of it, and even being able to handle failure is a success in itself.
There are people who like, you go ask.
They never share knowledge.
They tell you what you already know. A true friend is one who tells you when your face is dirty.
It's amazing where I am today, and who would have thought?
Since I met you, I've added more white hair.
Yes, clearly.
Hi there, my name is George Washuri. I am so happy to see you, and today I am here to enumerate, to explain how we package our land investment. We have 5 levels of our property, and we classify these levels as 1 star, 2 stars, 3 star, 4 star, and 5 star. This is what we mean, that if you buy a property that is 1 star with Optiven, one of the things that is evident, the property is cheaper, is below $500,000. And this particular property is basically bare land. We only do subdivision, put the beacons, and then produce titles. The second level, we call it 2 star. This is prime land, whereby we grade the roads, we put a marking fence, do the beacons, and produce titles. The third level, we call it 3 stars. This 3 star is value added plots. We do the malam, we do the water, we do the mesh fence, and there's a caretaker on site. The fourth level is 4 star. 4 star is ready to build development. We do very nice maram roads, we plant the trees, we put the water tower, we also put a caretaker on site, and finally, the 5 star. The 5 star is premier, is the top level, and this one, we do cable roads, we do water management through underground culverts, we do underground power, we do fountain for water, we do beautiful and nice permanent gates, we do perimeter wall, and also do install the CCTV, and the whole property is manned by uniformed security. Some of these properties, these 5-star properties, we do a clubhouse and also construct swimming pool. Thank you once more for trusting Optiven. We value you. We are at Absa Plaza, 14th floor and 15th floor. God bless you.
Michezo na wachezaji, matukio na matokeo uwanjani, Tumejifunga kibwebwe kukuletea mbwembwe. Si mazungumzo ya kusisimua. Ndiyo maana safu ya spoti ipo hapa kwa ajili yako. ZFC! Nami hapa nahodha Robert Chacha, sisuisui na kuandalia kipindi bomba cha safu ya spoti kila siku ya Jumamosi kuanzia saa 7:30 hadi 9:30 ndani ya runinga nambari 1 ya michezo Lookuptv.
Africa, our economy has a bit. It never stops, always beating. Our business, the next global economic frontier. Let's talk African business.
All right, good morning to you once again. Thank you so much once again for making time for this conversation here on Lookuptv. This is the Morning Drift. And as we wait for our guest, John Mark Babu, who is on his way, we just want to tell you exactly what we'll be talking about. You're looking at the 13th Parliament and the in-tray, exactly what awaits the members of Parliament once they start working this coming Thursday, when the first sitting will happen, with the President actually being part of that and actually addressing the National Assembly. Now, there are quite a number of things that we'll be looking into, or are expected to be happening in the 13th Parliament. First, what has been making headlines is the matters to do with remuneration, where the Salaries and Remuneration Commission says, well, we don't have remuneration for members of Assembly, and you're not going to be giving them allowances for their sittings. And they say they try to push her to, have an adjustment and say, okay, we're going to cut your budget into half if you don't consider that. The National Assembly Speaker, Moses Wetangula, saying they are still in deliberations and discussions happening to make sure that that happens. Let's take a look at this story and what is expected.
As induction for the lawmakers continues, the thorny issue of sitting allowances in the National and Senate Assemblies has once again come to the fore. Voices of discontent from members of both assemblies who are not comfortable with the decision of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to scrap off major allowances for the 13th Assembly sounding loudly.
Some savings so that we catch up with the lost time.
The lawmakers want the SRC Commission to review their decision.
Good morning. My name is Soipan Tuya.
On Wednesday, during the Senate induction in Naivasha, Speaker of the Senate Amason Kingi delved into the debate, insisting SRC should, as a matter of urgency, improve their packs to facilitate them carry out their constitutional mandate. Governments.
For the 10 years, if Senator Mazayo has to, traverse the county of Kilifi to see what I'm doing as a governor, I had to fuel his vehicle to do, to basically oversee what the county government is doing. I think you're talking about is not really an allowance. It is a facilitation that will enable the senators to actualize their constitutional mandate. It is not something new that they're demanding. It is not an additional amount of money that they want to add to their emoluments. It is, they simply want to be facilitated to undertake a constitutional duty.
In this crucial task, the Senate works in a watchdog role to ensure resources allocated to devolved units by the national government is not mismanaged. It is this nature of their work that Speaker Amason Kingi says Salaries and Remuneration Commission must facilitate in order to ensure there is proper running of county governments.
We talk of oversight. You cannot pretend to do oversight if you're not facilitated to go see exactly the resources that you have appropriated to the different counties, what these resources are doing. And the only way to do that is to enable, to facilitate the senators. Otherwise, there'll be Nairobi here, and Kenyans will start bashing them. That how comes we are seeing a lot of misuse of resources, and yet senators, you're not aware.
On Wednesday, the SRC Commission retreats to deliberate on this sensitive matter amid heightened calls for review of the parks. Whether or not there will be any change in this regard remains a wait-and-see situation. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
I am Enoch Wambua, Senator Kitui County.
All right, now that is what is expected to start happening in the 13th Parliament this coming week. Well, let me just take a look at what people have been saying in regards to that and whether we should actually having MPs, get hefty allowances. And I'd like to quote Kotu boss, that is Francis Atwoli. He says, our members of Parliament are unique. So many people depend on them and have a lot of things they need to initiate in their constituencies. When you curtail them from earning what you give them dignity as members of Parliament, then you shouldn't curtail them from earning what would give them dignity as members of Parliament. He continues to say, our members of Parliament must dress well, must have nice cars, and it is us, as taxpayers, who will facilitate that so that they don't become conmen or engage in other businesses which are not worth a member of Parliament engaging in. That is Francis Boss, that is, or rather, Kotu boss Francis Atwoli, who said that, and just in support of what the members of Parliament are asking for in regards to their allowances in the House. All right, and I'd like to introduce the next topic, or rather what will actually be forming the basis of discussion, still on matters the 13th Parliament. This has to do with the NGCDF, the National Government Constituency Development Fund, whereby the Supreme Court still holds that this is illegal and is unconstitutional. But members of Parliament say, okay, now you can't do that because, well, a lot of people have actually been, benefiting from that. The Deputy President saying, no, not the Deputy President, but the President, that is William Ruto, saying that it has done well. We've seen return for the investment that has actually been made into the CDF. And conversations will be happening around that to see exactly how we get it back. Let's take a look at that CDF story.
We want to ask the people who are trying to say that CDF is unconstitutional, that they are trying to say that the services that the people of Kenya, the people of Nandi, the people of this country do not deserve services that is school, building, and also bursaries. We want them to consider it. Forget about the patrons of CDF. Look at the people of Kenya. Look at the real beneficiaries of CDF. Let us continue and allow people to get services from their government. This is our government, and we deserve all the things that this government has to offer for us. So kwa hiyo mambo ya CDF, mimi nasimama na wajumbe. Mimi ni wangavu, lakini nasimama na wajumbe kwa mambo ya CDF, kwa sababu ule mwenye atapata CDF ni mtu wangu, mimi ni mama county wake.
Juzi tumesikia kwamba waziri wa fedha anaongelea akisema hata discuss CDF. Lakini mwanzoni hapo tulisikia Deputy President na President wetu William Amwai akisema ya kwamba kutakuwa na CDF. In fact, inafaa iongezwe ili iweze kusaidia watu wengine huko nyumbani. Namna gani? Sisi wote tunajua CDF inafanya kazi kubwa sana, si ndio? Katika kulipa karo ya shule, ujenzi wa shule. So kwa hivyo wabunge wote tumesikizana ya kwamba lazima CDF ikue ili tusaidie wanyonge katika kijiji. So tusikuwe na wasiwasi. Hiyo shida nyingine ambayo itakuwa, tutaenda pale bungeni alafu tutatatua hiyo shida. Sawa sawa.
Soy ke sojini Nandi ninyo age sojini Kenya ninyo.
All right, now just still in relation to that, a few days before he was sworn in, the President, President Ruto, promised MPs that he will allow discussions of NG-CDF, just like I had mentioned earlier, saying it had served the country well. And he said this, just quote him, "Don't worry at all, not because of any other reason or some cause, but because CDF has really given us value for money in many areas. we will actually be looking at it and having a discussion on how to look at it. Ruto also said they are open for discussions and enhancement of the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, GAF, for women representatives, given that the cash had an impact on the community. This is exactly what he said. I want to quote him. He said, just a second, we will be entertaining a discussion again that GAF can be enhanced. We know that many women reps have been going, many women representatives have been going through difficult times as they are judged by the same standards as other members of parliament. Well, that is that. It's open for discussion in regards to CDF and GAF to see how to enhance that and, give the members of parliament that particular kitty so that they serve their constituency. That is the argument that they're putting across. Now listen, I want to take you to the next story that will also be forming the basis of a discussion this morning here on the Morning Drift. My guest is already in studio. John Makababu is here with me. We'll be getting into that discussion. But before we do that, let me run you through what was happening in regards to the 13th Parliament. The induction of the members of parliament happened for 5 days at the Safari Park Hotel here in Nairobi, where they were being taken through how to, conduct themselves in the House and also some of the things that they should actually be looking at when it comes to passing bills. Let's take a look at this particular story of induction of members of parliament.
Members of parliament today thronged the Safari Park Hotel, the venue for the induction of members of the August House, chaired by Speaker Moses Wetangula. The induction is aimed at familiarizing new members with their roles in the House for proper execution of their mandate according to the Constitution. Speaking during the sessions, Central Bank of Kenya boss Dr. Patrick Njoroge indicating that they are undertaking a survey after the elections and they will forward their submissions to the National Assembly, adding that inflation had become an endemic world problem, which has contributed to Kenyans in the diaspora not remitting much money back home due to the strain of the global economy. On his part, Speaker Moses Masika Wetangula urged members to familiarize with House standing orders, insisting that members of parliament must ensure they work for the electorate as they hold high expectations of them. Wetangula further assured the members that their welfare will be taken care of by the House, asking members to do in-depth soul-searching as they endeavor to create a legacy for the 13th Parliament.
That expectations on you are huge. A member of parliament in your constituency, you are a funeral undertaker, you are a midwife, you are an extension officer in farming, you are a vet, you are a counselor on social issues. You literally do everything. And above all, you are also the local ATM. Yes. So, my leadership will ensure that we facilitate you to discharge some of these unexpected demands from the public.
Ian Kitani, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
All right, now the conversation this morning is about the 13th Parliament. We have the matter CDF and also the allowances that MPs actually shouting and, wanting that to actually be restored. All right, we'll be having that conversation with my guest in studio here, John Makababu, who will be helping us get into the details of that and just making us understand what exactly should be the priority of the members of Parliament once they get to start working officially this coming Thursday. That's conversation coming in just a little while. Don't go too far. Engage us on our socials at Amwai Brian on Twitter, at Lookuptv. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. We are also live on Facebook. You can send us your feedback there and we'll be able to sample some of it as we continue with this broadcast.
Hi guys, this is Wasim Nurani from Innovus Group. Innovus Group was founded in 2018 as a consulting group focused on providing services for all your business needs with offices in Mombasa and Nairobi, and with a core team of experienced staff. We are able to provide you with services in audit and assurance, tax advisory, financial and ICT consultancy. Get in touch with us for more details. Innova's group will be at the Royal Nairobi Golf Club for the Corporate Masters Golf Tournament on 1st of October. See you all there.
Get a chance to wake up as a tourist as you view Mount Kenya every day by buying a plot of land at Wema Gardens, Naru Moru. At only 400 meters off tarmac, this is the right place to build your dream home, cottages or holiday homes. You can also buy this property to give to your children as a special inheritance. Water and electricity are in the vicinity, while neighbors are already building their homes. These plots are specially ready for you with title deeds scheduled to be out in 6 months. Buy a 50 by 100 plot of land at Wema Gardens for only 399,000 Kenya shillings. You can also pay for your plot through our friendly 1-year installments plan.
Today we are at St. John's Hospital here in Githurai. We are here in conjunction with Total Care Box.
Once again, tuko hapa Angel Center for Abandoned Kids.
Tumekuja hapa Gatora tukiwa na mwariko wa kuitwa na hawa watu wa Roto.
Tuko hapa Kaptara, tunataka kusema asante sana Lotto Foundation kwa mambo mazuri ambayo wameweza kutufanyia leo.
To the Lotto Foundation, thank you so much for remembering us. Guys, we lack words. We lack words. We don't know what to say.
Mimi ya leo kwanza ni kushukuru Lotto Foundation wakiwa pamoja na Total Care kwa sababu ya kuangalia mama wetu.
Tumeshukuru sana kwa wao wageni wa Lotto Foundation kwa kututembelea hapa. Hatujawahi kutembelewa na watu wengine kama sisi wajane. Tumeshukuru, Mungu ambariki na amzidishe ule upendo na kwingine mnaenda, na tumemkaribisha tena na tena na tena.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the Lotto Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
All right, now thank you once again for staying with us here on the program. Like I promised you earlier, we are having a conversation on the 13th Parliament and what is in their interest. What exactly should they be focusing on as the legislators that they are and want to represent the country for the next 5 years? What are some of the important issues that are affecting the country that should be given priority? And as opposed to that, maybe that might be put aside. What is it that their hearts actually do under this particular moment? Joining me for this conversation here on the program is John Makababu. Thank you so much, man, for making time for this conversation here.
Thank you.
And just looking at this coming Thursday, the president will officiate and address the National Assembly officially and the start of business. And there's some of the things that we've seen making headlines when it comes to, you know, matters CDF and the salaries and allowances. But let's start with the salaries first, because this is what politicians are championing for. They say, you know, we do a lot of work when you go to the constituency level, and a lot of people do depend on us in regards to that. So we need to be given allowances, because this actually do help us in, you know, facilitating doing businesses at the constituency level. What's your take on that particular issue and their argument in regards to that?
I also agree with them, because now the allowances, they have been having those allowances. And you know, for them, maybe for the CDF kitty to be safeguarded, let them be given the normal allowance, transport allowance, houses allowance. So for me, I can say CRC, as much as the country is facing a lot of economical challenge here and there, but for us as a country, we need just to agree that our members of parliament, they need to be, because they are the one who come out with the legislative, so they need to be given the allowance that they have been talking along.
Talking about sitting allowances, do they really need that? Because that's exactly what we pay them to do, to go to parliament. We pay them to go to parliament and sit there and make oversight and legislate on particular issues. So why would they be given allowances to sit in parliament again?
See, you know, that is in our Kenyan constitution and how the government works, we have a bureaucracy. So it has been there. So you can't come and you want to introduce new norms in the, and this is the 13th parliament. It has been there since we started our election. The allowance, sitting allowance has been there. So what we need to do also, we need to agree and some of the allowances that should be cut down, but we can't remove the allowances. But we should sit down with them and see there are some unnecessary allowances. Like now, in many of the offices, if an MP comes out from his home, inside the car, he has he will get the newspaper. When he enters the office, he receives the same newspaper. So those are some bureaucracy that we need to remove. Just discuss with them and remove. And even I don't see the essence of them having the flowers in offices. I don't see. Let us maintain
those are probably some of the issues and the small issues to that matter. But this is the thing. Somebody will argue and say, looking at where we are as a nation, and you just mentioned it, and we have a government that has been championing for the bottom-up economic model and, you know, cutting down on costs and things like that. Should this not then be the priority that we can sacrifice? Because you say it is the 13th parliament, it has been happening, but probably we're looking at it and we say, how has this been happening? Do we actually need this? Do we actually really need this here? So maybe we don't need it. So the best way to do, or rather the right thing to do is to do away with it.
No, I don't see that should be the right thing. Because now going way forward, also the executive part of it doesn't want to be like it has a hand that controls legislation. We want legislation part of it to be more independent. So for it to be more independent, let them do their things and their work is to oversight the executive. So I'm seeing a situation where the president I'm expecting the president to talk about the allowances on Thursday, but he might not hit that hard, but it might bring a sense of sobriety. And I know after the president's speech, everyone will agree.
Because before he was actually sworn in, he said they are going to have a conversation, because it's not something that could actually be done away with. Before we get into the CDF, let's look at, because this is what we say, it is an issue that they've been raising during the induction. It dominated the headlines and the conversation. And the Speaker of the National Assembly saying we are having a conversation, SRC saying no, there's no way we are going to do that, and just, you know, back and forth in regards to that. But the House business, as they take over right now, from where you sit as a Kenyan and you know, somebody who is involved in the political arena, what do you think should be the focus of the 13th Parliament?
The focus of the 13th Parliament, first the focus should be, you know, in the 12th Parliament, where we had an issue of gender parity. Remember that issue? So I think before the president comes up very clear, I need to come out and see if we have achieved the two-third gender rule first. That should be now the focus, because we don't want maybe to the parliament to be open officially, then at the middle again, the court comes and rules out. So the president needs to come out very clear on the two-third gender rule. We see if we have fixed that issue before going way forward. The second thing, if you see that the 13th Parliament, maybe a half of the Parliament is about the young people. So, and the young people have been complaining. We are not represented. Nobody's looking about the young people. So I'm challenging the young people who have been elected to come out with the serious legislation concerning the young people, specifically the job opportunity and unemployment. Yes.
Let's get back to the issue of the two-third gender rule. So looking at it, it's been something that has been making a lot of debates in the political arena. And in most cases, we actually talk about it, but nothing ever seems to happen. So in this regards, what do you think should be a different kind of approach that should be employed when we start the 13th Parliament officially, that will see us have, you know, the two-third gender rule in the House?
First, I want to thank all political parties across the country, because if you look at how their nomination slot, they came out with the nominated MPs and nominated MCAs. They were more of the two-third gender rule. So if, for example, if I give an example of the Nairobi County Assembly, from both political divine, women were given the first priority across the country. So I'm seeing the same replicated to the National Assembly and Senate. So I'm seeing maybe in 2027 we'll have the two-third gender would have been achieved from the progress so far.
Okay, but this is the thing. I want to look at the part where, you know, it is to some extent we don't get to that, and we look at the constitution and say we have to have that. When you go to the court, they say, okay, now this one can actually be disbanded, because that is what Maraga said some time back. Say because it has not achieved the constitutional mandate that it has to have. You know, the two-third gender rule has not been achieved. So do dissolve the National Assembly. If at all we don't get that right now, do we go the same route?
No, we don't go the same route, because already our constitution it's a progressive constitution. And so far, if you compare the 12th parliament and 13th parliament, there's a big difference. You understand? So as a country, at least there's a progress so far on the two-third gender. So I'm seeing a situation where we might fulfill it in 2027, which is it's a good signal for the country.
Okay. So how do we make? Do we need to have you know, legislation, or rather just rules to make sure that we do achieve it, or is it a question of balancing? Because right now we can actually say, okay, to some extent, we have a lot of people who are women who have been nominated or elected in these political offices. If in the next election they don't get elected and we don't get to achieve that, how do we ensure that we always have, you know, the two-third gender rule? How can this 13th parliament make that different, that in every election we get to have that?
I'm happy because the current president, Dr. William Ruto, had signed a women charter, and he had promised that immediately he will give the 50% to women to cabinet slots. So I'm waiting to see if he will fulfill his promise. But already, as we are speaking, if you walk across the country, you already have like six governors out of 47 governors. In the previous election of 2017, we had like only two women for governorship. That was the late Laboso, then we had Waiguru, and we had Ngilu. So already we are seeing, as a country, we are growing politically, and we are hoping that we by 2027 we would have achieved the two-third agenda fully.
Okay. So in terms of this National Assembly starting its business, you don't have any recommendation in terms of making sure that this is actually something that gets to be passed and solidifies the place of two-third gender rule? Should we have a framework on exactly how we should be achieving that every now and then, in case we go to an election and we don't get to achieve that? Then how do we make sure that it is well constituted?
I don't see any other framework beside elective and nomination. Because now, how do you get them in there? It's either you're elected or you are nominated. And that's why I saw the registered political party pushing for all parties to follow and considering the two-third agenda. And that's why I'm telling you, if you compare the previous nomination list and the current, as a country we have achieved.
We are making progress in regards to that.
We are making a good progress.
You mentioned something in regards to the youth legislation, and we have seen quite a number of youth at 25 years of age being, you know, in the National Assembly. This is the 13th Parliament, and some of them it is their first time. And in most cases, we always say that the future is about the youth, and they get in there and we don't see them. We they kind of get lost, you know, in how things are done there, and we only get to hear them again after 5 years. Now, this is the thing. This is the 13th Parliament that has ushered in quite a new crop of leadership, a new crop of people who want to be in leadership positions, and they've been lucky enough to get to be elected. But when it comes to representing other youth in the country, from where you sit, how different, what will be the best way for them to go about it and make sure that their voices are heard and the people on the ground also feel that they're being represented, especially we as the youth, you as a youth?
One, we have also, in the previous parliament, we also had very vocal young people who we felt like they were speaking on behalf of us. If we give an example, and it cutted across the political divide. If you go to the NASA side, they had the likes of Babuino, the likes of Caleb Amisi, and the other side we had Wakina Didi Nyoro, Ichungwa, and the likes. But now, in the 13th parliament, at least there is a good progress. We have added more young people. The young people, when we see the young people being in different seats and being in higher seats like an arm of legislation, they give young people hope. So we expect them to come with the issues that affect young people. Like now, politicians have been talking about the issue of tax. We are challenging, young people have been elected, the likes of Kinatoto, the likes, I saw the other guy from Mumias East, to come out very strongly and come up with the serious legislation concerning unemployment and more specifically taxation. And we have also seen a situation where an executive still going on, borrowing and taking loans. So we expect them to come out very strongly, not only criticizing the government, but to come out with legislation that will ban the executive not only to go beyond what we expect as a country to borrow.
Okay. So the most important thing for you is, yes, you can actually criticize the government, but also come with a solution.
With
and
a
say
solution.
This is exactly how we can go about it. Let me talk about the young people and the 13th parliament and probably the previous parliaments, because I've seen you engage with some of them in these political forums. When you have these conversations, probably, what is it that they say could be a hindrance in terms of having the bills and passing these legislations that are in favor of the future generation?
You know, most of them have been complaining that there is a lot of bullying in parliament. You know, you are just a first timer. Maybe you don't know how to bring a bill on the floor, the process. Maybe it will take you like 2 years, maybe to understand how to come up with a bill, how to support it, how to mobilize. How to mobilize the bill. So there have been a lot of hindrance for the first timer in parliament. So I'm calling upon the second timer parliamentarian who are young, maybe to hold the other first timers their hand, maybe to show them how
but I think
parliament
that
works.
was the reason for the induction. When
But
this induction
the induction was only for a week.
Okay.
You can imagine it is for a week. There's that excitement. So there's not that much you can learn from induction. But it's a process. You know, it's a learning process. Even to come out and start talking in front of senior legislator, not only legislator, senior legislator, now talking issues. You can imagine challenging Honorable Atiende Amolo on the floor. So there is that like intimidation part of it, and to some extent you feel like there is that kind of intimidation coming out. So I'm seeing a situation where if the first timer they are not guided well, they might come out even without representing even one bill.
Oh, that is serious.
And it has happened. It has happened.
Because this is what I was thinking. And I'm thinking that these are politicians and what they do most is talk. Maybe then politics is not what happens in the house. That's the thing. What happens in the house is serious debate. Then that particular, like what you're putting and saying that people need to be held hands and all that, but it also comes from initiative. If you don't show initiative that you want somebody to be guiding you, then how is that supposed to happen?
You should put in mind any bill that comes to the floor, the executive must have an interest. Okay. So assuming now you are the opposition side, and maybe the bill that you want to present on the floor, in another way, it might antagonize the executive. So you must be ready to feel the hand of executive. So most of the first-time MPs will not like to go maybe to face head-on with executive, because there is that perception that the president is supreme, and there's no that we can't say that National Assembly it's independent somehow, because and that's why we have the majority leader and minority leader. The work of majority leader is to make sure that whatever the bills that they are passing at the National Assembly to goes hand with the executive. So you get somehow you might want to bring a bill that might help the majority Kenyans, but now the circumstance at that particular time does not favor you. So I'm seeing a situation where if first timer don't come out very strongly like the likes of Baboino and Kina Osoro, I'm seeing them maybe not even bringing even one bill on the floor.
But Babu, you see, this is the thing. I think that there's a difference between being loud and there's a difference between being loud and having substantial things to actually that will make a conversation in the house, because to some extent we look at politicians that are loud and say, now these are the people that are actually representing us, but what exactly are we seeing them pass bills and all that? I'm a propose a bill in parliament. Maybe we don't get that. We just get them to see maybe opposing and standing up to say, now this attacking one another and things like that. But we need proper legislation. We need proper debate on issues that are affecting the people. That is what we need to tell the young parliamentarians, that when you're getting in here, it is important for you to focus on having serious debates about the youth of this country and also the people of this country. Is that not the case?
It is the case, but as I've told you, the legislation part of it has a lot of interest. For example, I might have a motion that I want to be independent, but my party leader calls me and comes, whips the members that should be supporting the bill that I'm presenting. So in that situation, what do I do? So you see, so the party leaders and the party leaders influence a lot whatever the motion that is being tabled at the National Assembly. Both houses, by the way, be it at the county level, be it at national level and Senate. So I might not blame our MPs, because now they are more so they rely on the party leaders to give the direction.
Let's now look at moving forward, as the 13th Parliament actually convenes this coming Thursday, and the 4th Senate in terms of proper House representatives, because we have opposition and we also have those people that are actually looking for the majority in Parliament. I'd like to touch on this one because the one side of the political divide says now we have the majority, the other one actually says now we do have the majority. So I know you're going to say probably the Kenya Kwanza side has the majority, but what is on paper? What does the law say in regards to the majority of the House?
As we all know, we are waiting for the Speaker to rule about the issue. There have been a lot of debates going around, but now there's someone who says something, and I saw a lot of sense in it. Did Azimio Party had even an MP? The only candidate that vied on Azimio Party coalition, it was only the presidential. So, as things are, we all know, UDA as a party is the leading majority party. But now when it comes also to the coalition, is when now we're bringing the Azimio Coalition Party and Kenya Kwanza Coalition Party. So when it comes to collision, we all know if it doesn't need you to even to wait for the ruling. You can still do your own mathematics. Okay. At the UDA, at the ANC, at the Ford Kenya, at the Chama cha Mashinani, at the current UDM. So it tells you who are the majority. You don't even have to argue. But now, as I have said, we are still waiting for the ruling from the speaker. Whatever I rule, we'll go by the ruling.
Okay. Now, as we wind up, because I'm running out of time, we are quite limited in regards to that. Let's look at what could actually be, you know, the cabinet of the Kenya Kwanza government, or the President William Ruto's cabinet, how it could actually look like. From where we sit as the people of this country, as somebody who is in close association with the Kenya Kwanza team, what are we looking at and what are we expecting in regards to this cabinet?
As Kenya Kwanza government, as I know, we are expecting more of technocrats. The cabinet slot will be more of technocrats. We want to run our government as much as the executive is the head, but we want to leave also the other arms of government to be more independent. But you know, technocrats also, it's accompanied by politics. So we are somehow looking for a hybrid cabinet where we'll be having few faces of politician and the larger, to large extent, we'll have the technocrat to run the cabinet. So that's how I'm foreseeing our cabinet to come out. It will be hybrid of technocrat and politician. Of course, as the politician comes in, you see there are some loyalist supporters who have been supporting us, and when either way they lost their seats. So we have to observe them. That's now where the politician phase now comes out.
Okay. But this is the thing. There's been a conversation in regards to why it is taking long to form a cabinet, because the people of Kenya were hoping that before the president actually went to the US and the UK, that he would have actually named his cabinet, and we've seen that not happen. And we're expecting, or probably the moment he touches down, then that's exactly what is going to happen. But to some extent, we're getting, give us a little bit of 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. We'll have a cabinet in place, a minister, a cabinet secretary in place who is going to change this and that. So how much time is this, and why is it taking so long? Is there an issue in regards to agreeing on who is exactly suited to hold a particular office?
I can't say that because, you know, this is a Kenya Kwanza government. It's more of coalition government. So all political players must agree, because they have been working together even as we are campaigning. And I know with time, what I know as we speak even now, we already have the proposal of the names that should be at the cabinet level. But now, because of the anxiety, in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we'll be bringing the names out. I'm very sure in the next 1 week or 2 weeks.
Well, 1 week or 2 weeks. When that picture comes out, what should it look like for you, so that you don't get disappointed and say, this is not what I thought will come? What is it that you're looking at and say, now when this one actually comes out, this one will be super? Let me just get that from you.
Of course, as I know, my party leader and the current president, as he had promised, will have a youth ministry that will be run by youth. The second charter that the president signed, he will have half cabinet will be women. And that's why we are trying our best. What do we do in that scenario? And that's why we are trying to tell our people, you might not have the cabinet slot, but we'll consider you maybe at a chairman position on parastatal. So we are trying our best to give our best, but I know the president has already has the names. He's only waiting maybe to talk to the people who they had applied for the job, and maybe they are not favored in either way or the other. So they are trying to tell them to cool down. They will be considered.
in other positions.
Yeah.
We saw they say probably could actually reintroduce CIS.
I don't see it coming.
I think I'm out of time here because I need to give time for Kiage Simba Charles for the local business. But just your final remarks in regards to the 13th Parliament and what should be the main focus. Let's get to that.
There have been a lot of debate concerning the CDF fund. So I'm calling upon, as much as we're encouraging our institution to be independent, I'm also calling upon our judiciary to any ruling that they are giving, they should also consider the interests of the people. There's some ruling, yes, with the constitution they have ruled, but now they should consider the impact of removing the CDF kit.
Okay.
So I'm calling upon our judiciary to review the ruling and see if we can still reintroduce the CDF with some of the clauses that they had challenged.
Okay.
So that is my final touch.
Thank you so much, John Makababu, for your time and making time for this conversation this morning here on Lookuptv, the Morning Drift. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Let's do this again next time, right?
Thank you.
All right, now just close to 5 minutes to 11 o'clock, and Simba Charles Elijah Kiage will be coming back here with Lookup Business. Don't go too far. That has been my time here. My name is Brian Amwai. Let's do this again next time. Hope, have yourselves a lovely day.
Hi there, my name is George Washuri. I am